Well, tonight we're making a seafood pasta salad as a meal. The recipe calls for 7 cups of pasta, your choice. These are medium shells, that's 3 cups. That's tricolor rotin, however you pronounce it, 2 cups. That's 1 of penna, and that's just regular old elbow macaroni. One of the things you need to pay attention to is how long it takes for everything to cook. What we do is we usually mark the boxes when we buy them. So if something takes 12 to 10, you'd put that in there, and the shells and this would go in at the same time. And then this maybe a minute or so later, and this a minute or so later. And that way it'll all be done at the same time. The recipe calls for it to be al dente, and you can't chew it if it's that way. And one of the things about pasta here over the last several years, used to be you could cook spaghetti for 9 minutes and be perfect. Now you're cooking it 14 minutes, you still can't chew it. We've had to cook it 16 minutes to be able to eat it. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to cook this at least the amount on these packages that I've written that would be cooked, and I will sample it before I cut it off and drain it. Another little tip we do, we mark all our cans when we buy them. You can see the date, that was December and January. It's just easy to know which one's the oldest without trying to hunt it up. We just write down the month that we buy it. Seems to work. We've got the other stuff ready to go. I'm waiting for this water to boil. I'm going to put these things in and pull it out and be back with you. Well, the water's boiling good. In goes the 3 cups of shells. One thing you want to do with any kind of pasta is after you put it in, you have to stir it a little bit just to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. After that, you don't have to worry about it. This is just salt water and water. I got to hit my timer. Be back in a bit. Well, we just poured it into the colander, and it should be almost full. And we're going to eat this as a cold dish. If that was spaghetti, you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't ice it down. But I'm going to pour that into that water with ice in it and add enough ice to make this come to room temperature or colder. Well, there's water, ice, and pasta. And if you hit it right, the ice will be all just about melted by the time that pasta's lost all its heat. I'm going to try to do this with one hand, although I think it's hard to do. I'm sure y'all all know the secret of getting the tails off of shrimp. Even in a restaurant, if you eating fried shrimp or steamed shrimp or whatever, these were frozen. They had the tails on them, so if you were going to use them for a cocktail, it would be great to hold on to them. All you have to do is take your finger and push right down in there. And if I had 2 hands, see, it just slides off. All you have to do is, if you go about halfway through it, instead of all the way through it, it will come off. It just saves a lot of time rather than cutting them and trying to slip the ends off. But you end up with all of them done. I just have a few more to do, so I just saved that for you to know. Just pinch the ends, and if you had 2 hands, you'd pull it right off right now and throw the shrimp down and throw that in another container. Back in a bit. To keep the pasta from sticking together now that it's been drained, this is a double recipe that I'm doing. About 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and mix it up really thoroughly so all of it gets a little coating on it. In the sunny south here, there's 2 camps. I might find out there's 3, but basically there's 2 camps. There's a camp that eats Duke's mayonnaise and a camp that eats Hellmann's. We're in the Duke camp. So I'm going to stir this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. The reason we use the tricolor pasta's pasta in a way, but it does add a little color to it. And we're going to have 24 ounces of shrimp in here, since the packages come 12 ounces each instead of 16. So it's 24 ounces of that. And we're going to put some chopped up sliced semi-julienned sweet pepper. A healthy maybe 3 tablespoons of chopped up onion, fairly fine. And it takes seafood. Well, since nobody can afford to buy crab and lobster to put in this, or spend the time to pick the crab, we use this imitation crab meat or fake crab meat. It seems to work pretty good. These come in little rolls, and you just have to, I slice them up. I lay half of the package right there and just slice them up so that it'll come apart and be a lot of little pieces in it. And this is just chunkier style of the same stuff. And when I finish doing that, I'll get back with you. When I cut up shrimp like this, what I do is try to get right up there by the corner and just cut through it, rather than make 2 cuts. My bride was home from work. She would help me on this, at least hold the camera for me. It just makes it easier to cut it up, and you have small bites and big bites, and there's nothing wrong with having a big bite of even imitation crab meat in your salad. Well, I've already mixed the shrimp up and now the imitation crab meat. This recipe calls for a minimum of 2 cups of Dukes. We put about 4 tablespoons in there, so it's going to be another 1.5 cups of mayonnaise or more. The nice thing about this recipe, it ought to be called seasoned to taste seafood pasta. Because if you like radishes, put more in it. If you like onions, put more in it. You like more mayonnaise, less mayonnaise, put more in it. It just works out that way. If you like just shell pastas, use just shell pastas. If you want to mix it up, mix it up. If you want just shrimp, use just shrimp. Or just crab meat. Or use it all. It really is. Suit your fancy. Not everybody likes onions and radishes. Or peppers. But when I get this all mixed up, you'll see it's pretty colorful. And it looks nice on a plate. Well, that's it all mixed up. Salt and pepper to our taste. You can put celery in it. The reason I didn't put celery in it today is because I didn't have any. I forgot to pick it up the other day. But I would say it's great like it is, or with celery. One thing this is really great for is when you have cherry tomatoes. After you wash those tomatoes off, and just take and hold them between your index finger and your thumb and slice it through with a nice sharp little tomato knife, and drop it in the salad plates of people's plates that have this in it. But you know, it's the middle of January, so you know, cherry tomatoes. And this is an old Tupperware cake pan turned upside down. This covered the cake, and that's the bottom. Oh, yeah, we can have cherry tomatoes on ours tonight because we thought ahead. They do freeze. They will get mushy. There's no question about it. But you can use it. You can put these, set them out, run a little water on them, set them in your salad. Take a real sharp knife, cut them in half, and close your eyes, because the flavor will not be like it is in the middle of August, but it will still be nice tomato flavor, and they will get soft when they thaw out. But we always freeze a bunch, and we've got a bunch of those, and 4th of July is frozen out there. So now I got to wait for my official bride taster to come home to see if I need to add anything else to this. Right now it's going in the refrigerator. I'll write the recipe in the description box. Well, here's my wife's plate. She hasn't tasted it yet, but I think she'll say it's okay. With my wife likes salad dressing on hers, and I like it plain. But you can put whatever you want on it. But that's what it looks like when it's done. Thanks for watching.